Good morning, all the students of ninth standard. We are learning the political science first lessons. In this first lesson, we are learning the last one point, that is post Cold War, the situation during the war time. On the page number 63, the Cold War came to an end with the disintegrations or disintegrations of the Soviet Union. Disintegration of the Soviet Union means we can say that as a dividation or partition of the Soviet Union. Soviet Union was divided into the several group or into the small country. So with the disintegration of the Soviet Union, Cold War was came to an end, which till then had been a superpower. Soviet Union was a superpower. As a result, major changes took place in the world politics. Which are the changes are there? America remained the one and only super powerful country into the world politics. This is the first one point. American country, it's remained the one and only, the super powerful country. No one was competitor. No one is competitor for America in the world as opponents or the powerful country. A conducive atmosphere prevailed for the growth of trade and economic relations between and among nations. So conducive atmosphere created, suitable atmosphere created in a world for the growth of trade and economic relationship in the European country or into the friends country, that capital, labor, market informations circulated through the world. And in the world after the end of Cold War, capitalistic industrial policy, labor policy, marketing, trading, business, informations, technologies, that start to be circulate, that start to be given exchange in the world there. Ideas start to be spread freely as well, that so peoples also or countries also, they start to share their ideas, as all nations of the world decided to give a priority for the trade relationship. Each and every nation in the world, they gave the first priority for the trading business to be improve their business. The idea of giving aid to other nations fell behind that. So the idea is there to be giving the aid to the other, that to help or to sometime it is that to be disturbed, that fell behind. Instead, efforts began to be made to establish an economic relationship. Instead of that, they start to be set up their economic relationship, they start to be maintained. The descriptions of a country which was opposed to the another has now changed from the enemy nations toward the rival nations. Before that, what is the to the opponent nation or the other nation they consider as their enemy. Instead of that enemy, now they have started to think about that rivalry, oppositions, race was started, opponents between them, the race was started, who will be more stronger, who will become more and more prosperous by the trade. The responsibility of the United Nations has increased. United Nations, America's responsibility start to be increased, because in the world, one of the one and one powerful full country there, one and only one powerful country there. So responsibility is now again more there. United Nations now had to take more concrete steps to maintain the global peace and security. Now it is the United Nations responsibility or America's responsibility to maintain the peaceful order and security in the world. Environmental protection is also important, that fostering of the human right, to protect the human right, gender equality, management of the natural calamities theirs, and acquired the global dimension. So these things start to be acquired, the global dimensions means start to be spread in a world. More importance for these things, for the gender equality, human rights are there, management of the natural calamities, of the disasters, these things are important at the time. What is now globalization? Globalization means what? Open market door policies without the barrier, without any restrictions, beyond the limitations. After the end of the Cold War, trade and economic relations between the countries became more open. That trade and the business between the countries start to started with more openly or freely without limitations. As been mentioned before, capital, labor, market, and informations began to circulate globally. So we have seen just now only we have heard that capitalist policy, labor policy, market, information, they start to be circulate openly or freely into the international level. the give and take of idea among the people all over the world start to be increased. The idea among the people, that is give and take this idea in the world, start to be increased. All the people, they start to exchange their information, their ideas, their skills. And also due to the revolutions in information technology, different events and developments began to be known as everywhere there. So innovation started into the information and technology. With the help of invention of that into the information and technology, ideas start to be exchanged freely there. The boundaries between the nations did not remain as a sacrosanct as they were before that. What are the boundaries were there? Limitations were there. Line of control. That boundaries were not remain as it is. People, they start to be trade business by crossing that limit or the boundaries. Before that, they were not allowed to cross their boundaries to enter in their territories. But now, for the trading business purpose, they are coming, entering that. All these processes are together called as a globalization. All these things are considered or called as a globalizations. Just as a globalizations has brought us a benefit, it globalization means it has also caused a losses. We got the benefit of the globalization, but along with that, some of the losses are there with the help of globalizations. Now, which are the losses are there? For example, the economics of the different countries got linked with each other. Trade increase, economic politics, economy of each and every most of the countries attached with each other. Trading business, trade politics started there. Trading business increased. Economic unification start to be increased. Plenty of products became available in the markets. Number of the products became available in the market, but at the same time, the gap between the poor and the rich countries did not reduce that. Things available, product available in each and every country that, but whatever the gap is there between the rich and the poor countries not reduced. It remains same. Rich countries became again more and more rich, and poor countries became more and more poor. So gap start to be increased again. In this chapter, we studied the global development from the 1945 onwards up to now. We have studied the development. We understood the world in the Cold War situations time or the period, and also we have studied the arm races and also efforts of the disarmament movement, that also we study. We also learned about the meaning of the globalization in this chapter. So when it come in the next chapter, that we will see the Indian foreign policy, that into the next chapter. Okay, is anything missed? Then tell, or you can text. I am little bit confused about this, whether it is this only point going on or previous. If it is previous, then also I will tell some information that some points are here. Arm race was there. Arm race started there to be produce more and more destructive weapons or in the world there. So that started to be created endangers in the world peace and security. So disarmament movement started this. Creation of the regional organization, different regional organizations, they start to be created as Asian organizations for the Asian countries, that developing nations created a regional organization at the regional levels to in the context of the superpower rivalry, that they felt the economical developments. So they came together. For example, European economic communities there, while the Southeast Asian communities also countries also there. For example, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, they came. Establishment of the Asian or Southeast Asian nations also. ASEAN Organization Summit started. Non-alignment movement, that not to join to anyone, that during the time of the Cold War, many countries means powerful countries tried to pull them, but some of the countries they not joined to the American side or Russia side, that we can call as a non-alignment. In that India is also there. So bipolarize become there were some countries which did not want to join to the any super powerful country rivalry nation, that such nations decided to be stay out of the Cold War rivalry. Their policy is known as a non-alignment. Non-alignment was an important movement during the Cold War. This is a non-alignment policy, that non-aligned movement, Asian and African countries which became independent after the Second World War supported the idea of alignment. This movement started in the year 1961 under the leadership of the India's Prime Ministers Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, President of Yugoslavia Marshal Tito, President of Egypt Gamal Abdel Nasser, President of Indonesia Dr. Sukarno, and Prime Ministers of Ghana Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So they started the non-aligned movement. It is also important that among that Indian Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's role is also important. Evaluation of the non-aligned movements, how it is important, that is there. Non-aligned movements created that not to be joined, that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is also among that important that. So these things are there. These things important. You read out, you will get. Okay. Thank you.